This is from my short story called Frequencies of Captivity. When Carl entered the house, he saw an unwashed man the size of a mattress. Heathcliff was the size of many things, really. A NOAA wave buoy, a submersible, or a Coast Guard dinghy. His hair was peeling away from his head like the bark of a cedar tree, slowly and in great tufts. He had no teeth on the right side of his head, and it was just a sheet tangled around an otherwise naked body that kept Heathcliff from completely resembling an old, one-tusked walrus. And there he was, wallowing in a pen of delivery containers, pizza boxes, and empty soda cans. Heath, I'm going to be honest with you. You can't stay here by yourself. Carl had to start breathing through his mouth the closer he got to the bed. Heath, if you stand up and walk out of the house, we won't have to knock the wall down again. I can't, Heathcliff said. I need you, Heath. I need your help. I said I can't, I mean I can't. Heath primly said, sweat starting to stain his sheet where it disappeared under his belly. Sit up, I'll help you. Carl did his best to find purchase on the garbage on the floor. Like I said, my knees hurt, you queer. Heath clasped, as best he could, his hands like a pious nun. At the word queer, Carl started to clap his hands. He thought of the one beat of that word, how it felt like rubber bullets on his chest. He watched the way the word contorted Heathcliff's mouth so that at the end, Carl saw just a flash of what was left of Heath's teeth. Queer, queer, queer. It was true. All he ever wanted to be was Madonna. As a teenager, he bought every album she ever put out. He would wait until his father fell asleep in his recliner before he would sneak into the living room, turn the TV from the news to MTV, and wait for her videos to come on. He copied her every move, trying to feel like her, young, free, and feminine. With only the flickering blue light of the TV, he would dance in front of his sleeping father. At first he fantasized about his father waking up and being so moved by his dancing that he would struggle out of his recliner and give him a standing ovation, clap so hard it would sound like a 21-gun salute. Of course, wasn't what happened. One night, his father let his cigarette fall into his crotch, and he woke up with a scream, for his balls were on fire. And then another scream, because he saw his son dancing around his living room in his wife's wedding dress. What Carl really remembered about it was that after his father had tackled him, after his father slammed one knee into his chest, he leaned in close enough to see the tears that swam in his father's eyes. When their faces were close enough to kiss, his father said, "Women wear dresses, Carl. Don't be a queer. They will hate you for it." In an open act of rebellion, Carl did the one thing Heathcliff could never do. He put his hands on his hips and started to shake his ass. Carl moved his hairy body with grace. Every hip thrust and bosom shake was fluid and came from the center of his body. Carl transformed himself into a single lady. He thought of all the men who should have put a ring on it and didn't. Carl got low and pressed his broad chest down. He started to sweat hard because while Beyonce did this dance in a unitard and stilettos, Carl was doing it in black work boots and in blue fluid-resistant pants. Your father, if he could see you now, I would tell him what a queer you turned into. You were on the bowling team, you know. Besides, I'll break my ankle, you fucking sissy, Heathcliff said. Carl showed Heathcliff the front and back of his left hand. He thought of John, his first love. He was angelic and tender, as if Audrey Hepburn herself had just rode a unicorn back to earth to tell him that he had met someone else. Or Matthias, who chewed with an open mouth and called him dude more than he called him honey. He pursed his lips and worked his head side to side. I said I can't, I mean I can't. If he could have, Heath would have flipped over so his back was to Carl. Since he couldn't, Heathcliff had to watch Carl dance ever closer to the bed. Carl held on a hand and close and said, "I need your help, Heathcliff."